The mayor's bold plan for the future, why the business community wants that plan to turn into action. Detours ahead, the city lays out the construction season. And Raiders fans pack the Art Hauser Centre, why their support isn't wavering despite last night's loss.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. Chantel is off tonight. I'm John Flatters. Saskatoon Mayor Cynthia Block gave her second State of the City address to business leaders today. And after hearing of her calls to be bold, the business community is eager to see those plans carried out.
Mayor Cynthia Block says the city must act boldly moving forward, but the local business community says those plans must turn into concrete action before it's too late.
I think that if we continue to lead boldly, especially in this time where we have an opportunity to capitalize in ways that I haven't seen in my lifetime.
But we also have to follow it up pretty quickly with an urgent plan to get them done, because as we talk about early and often, the world will not wait for Saskatoon to get its act together. It won't.
During her second State of the City address, Block spoke about a growing city with worsening homeless issues and a need for housing of all kinds. But front and center was the transformation on the horizon, with the entertainment district, Link, and a new library set to change the city in short order. And just like Midtown Mall and SaskTel Centre in decades past, Block understands there's fear and apprehension about her bold vision.
We have a generation of talent that deserves to have what modern cities need and what they want. And I think we should make sure that we get it to them.
But these projects are hitting bumps in the road. A crucial stretch of Link on First Avenue was recently put on pause, which could affect the 2028 launch date. And council voted against having an American company operate the eventual downtown arena and convention center, leaving a crucial part of the funding plan up in the air.
I'm not sure where that leaves us. And so that leaves us then to remain very concerned about an action orientation to this bold vision.
Block says there's no imminent announcement, but there's been conversations that she says could de-risk the project in significant ways.
Deed will happen. It is a part of the evolution of our city.
As the city navigates a number of transformational changes at the halfway point of Block's first term as mayor, businesses are hoping that these plans move forward quickly before Saskatoon is left behind. Keenan Sorakan, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Road work is ramping up across Saskatoon with traffic slowdowns and detours expected on several major roads this summer. Stacey Hine has more on what drivers in the Bridge City can expect.
Drivers in Saskatoon can expect to see more detours and construction zones this summer as some of the city's busiest roads undergo major upgrades.
This work extends the life of our roads and improves driving conditions, and in some busy areas it's being done at night to help ease daytime traffic.
The city says planning for some of its larger projects begins as early as the previous summer, with the goal of limiting traffic disruptions where possible.
We might make a mistake here and there, but we try to do the best that we can, but it's unavoidable in some instances.
Roadwork is scheduled on parts of Ottawa Drive, Circle Drive, and 22nd Street West. The city says while most of the work will happen overnight, drivers may still see crews and prep work during the day.
The actual repaving or resurfacing of the road will be completed at night, but there's often a bunch of prep work that has to happen before we do the resurfacing.
Water main replacements will be underway in 8 neighborhoods. New water and sewer infrastructure is also being installed in the Marquis industrial area near Silverwood Heights, causing a detour along part of Wanuskewin Road. Meanwhile, traffic restrictions remain in place on College Drive and the University Bridge as work continues on the city's Rapid Transit Link project and bridge repairs.
Everything is going to plan, but it's still several months worth of work left there.
The city also recently launched its Respect Work Zones campaign, urging drivers to slow down and avoid distractions in construction areas to keep both workers and travelers safe. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
The Ministry of Agriculture says despite a slow start, progress is being made on spring seeding. 16% of the crop is now in the ground, up 13% from last week, but still lagging behind the 5- and 10-year averages. The Southwest is furthest ahead, followed by the Southeast. Limited rainfall in the province this week allowed for more seeding progress, but dry and windy conditions are lowering the amount of water in the soil, and more areas are reporting shortages. Strong winds in the southern part of our province have left some people in the dark earlier today. SaskPower says 10 transmission structures have been damaged in the southwest of Saskatchewan due to wind gusts as high as 110 kilometers an hour. Environment Canada says the windstorm is the result of a deep low-pressure system that came from Alberta.
We also have a big push of cold air coming in from the Arctic, so when you combine the really warm air that we had the last couple days and some cold air and a rapidly deepening low pressure system, that's when you have that combination for really strong winds.
Earlier today, SaskPower said affected communities would likely be without power until tomorrow when the winds are expected to calm down. Officials are warning that rainfall over the long weekend could worsen already high water levels in flood-plagued areas of the province. The province says as of today, 11 communities remain under states of emergency due to rising water levels. Heavy rainfall is expected across parts of the province, raising concern about increased runoff and accelerated snowmelt in the north. The Meadow Lake area is expected to see up to 40 millimeters of precipitation beginning as rain before turning to snow, with localized heavier amounts possible. Officials say saturated ground conditions and limited absorption could trigger rapid runoff and further rising water levels across the region.
When we have rainfall on snow, it can accelerate that runoff where we have that snowpack. So we're watching that. But if it does turn to snow, that does kind of give a little reprieve to that runoff, kind of slows it down a bit. So that's what we're watching really closely.
Drivers should check the highway hotline before traveling for the latest updates on road conditions and potential washouts across the province. Well, if that was the previews for a movie, Laura, I think we'd be watching a horror movie, and with the forecast coming, I think we are.
Yeah, it feels that way. I mean, Jeff left, and he left me with this forecast, so I take no responsibility. It's looking to be a cold May-long weekend. Today, we saw a strong spring storm come through most of the province, with it bringing some rain, some wind, and maybe even some snow in the future. I'll have your full forecast coming up.
A woman charged in connection with a Saskatoon homicide has changed her plea. 35-year-old Chantal McLaren pleaded guilty to accessory after the fact to murder. Her second charge, offering an indignity to human remains, is expected to be withdrawn at sentencing. Evidence was supposed to begin this morning, but things took a turn when McLaren changed her plea. McLaren's charges stem from the death of Lee Perkins, a 25-year-old man from Alberta. A 36-year-old man is charged with first-degree murder, and a third accused has already pleaded guilty to manslaughter. Sentencing submissions are scheduled for September. RCMP are asking for help in solving the homicide of a 65-year-old woman in Battleford. They've released this footage from April 5th of Melissa Kol-Durkachenko entering and leaving the Walmart on Carlton Trail in North Battleford. It shows what she was wearing the day she was last seen. On April 8th, police were called to a home on 20th Street West in Battleford, where she was found dead. RCMP are asking anyone who saw Melissa Kol-Durkachenko in early April or saw anything suspicious along 20th Street over the Easter weekend to contact them. There was a heated debate in the Saskatchewan legislature today over SaskPower's plan to refurbish coal-fired power plants. It came on the final day of spring sitting. The NDP was critical of the cost of maintaining coal-fired power, while the government said it is the best option. Wayne Mantika reports.
Sask Power is at a crossroads on the future of electrical generation in the province. Its coal-fired power plants are worn out, but it will take years to build a nuclear replacement. Until then, it plans to refurbish the coal plants. That drew fire from the NDP opposition on the final day of the spring sitting.
No accountability from a government that reeks of arrogance and entitlement. Now, we only know about the real cost of this coal plant because some brave people at Sask Power leaked them to us.
The government plans to use coal-fired power as a bridge to nuclear,
which is the most affordable, reliable way to provide power to Saskatchewan families today.
Sask Power places the capital cost of refurbishing plants at Estevan and Coronach at $2.6 billion. The cost would be about the same to convert those plants to natural gas, but far less than constructing new power plants.
On the question of the cost of coal refurbishment, the reporting costs are that $2.6 billion is the estimated value of refurbishing 1,500 megawatts of coal. And if you look at an equivalent with respect to a CER-compliant pathway with respect to natural gas, the number is $21 billion.
The spring sitting of the legislature has now ended, and MLAs are heading home for the summer. But the Sask Power debate will no doubt follow them wherever they go. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
Some daycare centers in the province are reportedly running steep deficits. They say the situation will only get worse under the new $10 a day childcare deal. Virginia DeClute has the details.
An emergency meeting was held in Rocanville Wednesday night to discuss changes to the province's childcare agreement.
And so that puts a huge economic strain on families and also on the community. We are a small community, so we have lots of people that work locally. Businesses are going to feel that impact of not having employees that have childcare.
They say an inequitable funding model made worse by recent updates to the Canada-Saskatchewan Canada-wide Early Learning and Childcare Agreement is putting more pressure on their operations.
Actually, we're seeing centers in the past year that have posted anywhere from like $10,000 to $80,000 deficits. Ours, particularly, we posted a $60,000 loss last year.
Werner says they rely on grants, but those are disappearing.
And that's part of the problem with the system that we're running is running off of grants all the time. Grants can go away at any time, and that's what we're seeing now with this new deal.
The government says updates to the new plan do not remove any existing revenue streams.
That the operators have been provided some guidelines as to what they can charge on an hourly basis or a maximum monthly basis, so we don't erode the affordability for the families. But at the same time, those operators that are providing extended hours of services to the parents and families that need that, they have the ability to now charge additional revenue and generate that.
Werner says the model does not work in practice.
It's the only time our fees move is when the government says that we get an increase. So typically before this agreement came into place, we would adjust our fees yearly to offset any sort of budgetary requirements that we would need, inflation, things like that. We're unable to do that now.
The Ministry of Education says the program is financially sustainable and that the government is working closely with the sector.
This is something that's being done to make sure we maintain the stability within the sector to ensure that it is viable for the long term.
Werner took her fight to the legislature on Thursday, promising to keep pushing for the ministry to roll back the changes, which come into effect on July 1st. Virginia DeClute, CTV News, Rocanville.
With just one home game left for Prince Albert in the WHL final, fans of the Raiders have been making the most of the series and the entire playoff run. Jasmine Pelche reports on what this week has meant for the community.
The Prince Albert Raiders fans packed Art Hauser Center again Wednesday night as the community turned out to fully support their team in the WHL finals, with kids excited to see their favorite players.
So what are you hoping to see? A juice bomb.
Is your favorite?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. I like Rudolph.
The Raiders' playoff run has led to lineups for tickets and some standing room only sections during games. And the atmosphere is loud. with many fans decked out in Raiders gear and cheering at the top of their lungs.
I put stripes on my face because I wear stripes. We win against the hat, against the blades.
Some fans have been supporting the team since day one.
Since 1971. Yeah, we were the originals. Well, part of the originals, yes.
It wasn't just Raiders fans in the house this week, as the rival Everett Silvertips had some family support in the stands.
Because my cousin's on there, and he's pretty great. Jesse Heslop, number 22.
People coming from far and wide to see the games. Even local businesses have been getting in on the fun. Wednesday night's game didn't end the way most of the Prince Albert crowd wanted it to, with the Silvertips now one game away from a series win. The Raiders have a do-or-die home game Friday night, and fans are hoping the team will push the series to games 6 and 7. It's safe to say that no matter what the rest of the week holds, the Prince Albert Raiders are a long-standing source of pride for the city and its community members. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Prince Albert.
Saskatoon's Remai Modern is now home to a painting by a globally celebrated artist born in Saskatchewan. This painting by Agnes Martin, titled Tranquility, is composed of faint ivory and lavender blue bands that are said to showcase her lifelong exploration of the subtlety of color and the power of abstraction. Agnes Martin was born in Macklin and spent parts of her career in New York and New Mexico. She's best known for her grid paintings that feature pencil lines and bands of color. Remai Modern is the first museum in Western Canada to acquire a painting by Agnes Martin. Agnes Martin died in 2004. Still to come, Ottawa unveils its electric ideas. Also, how Albertans feel about separating from Canada. You're watching CTV News live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us. We're getting reaction today from Alberta politicians and First Nations after a judge's decision to throw out a separation petition because it failed to consult First Nations. Premier Danielle Smith and separatist groups are not happy with the ruling. Mike Lecouture tackles the support and the backlash for us today.
It is now time for oral question period.
On the last sitting day of Alberta's legislature, the leader of the NDP said the judge's decision to toss out the separation petition should be the final word on a potential referendum. Naheed Nenshi also questioned why Premier Smith is pushing on.
Is all of this just because the Premier promised her friends they'd have a referendum no matter what?
Smith called Wednesday's ruling anti-democratic, saying there are more than 700,000 total signatures willing to vote on separation. The Premier is planning to appeal the decision, and she said she's also willing to use a constitutional tool.
Section 33 allows for notwithstanding clause so that when the court makes errors in law, it can always be overridden by democratically elected legislatures.
And that may be an option, but First Nations communities say it doesn't supersede their rights under the Constitution.
And just remember one thing, they had a duty to consult, they failed to do so, and they're paying the consequences because of our constitutionally protected rights under Section 35.
Prime Minister Mark Carney did note the Clarity Act gives Parliament a role in judging the question put to the people of Alberta. But before that, he hopes the province opts for cooperative federalism.
The core thing is working with the provinces, whether it's Alberta, Nova Scotia, whichever province, ever territory, to make the country work, and that's what this government is focused on.
While her government hasn't indicated when it plans to appeal the court decision, Premier Smith continues to say she wants a sovereign Alberta within a united Canada. Mike Lecouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
A long-awaited national electricity strategy was announced today by the Prime Minister. It's a significant plan to double the grid by 2050 and in the process transition to a low-emission economy, create jobs and bring consumer costs down. Abigail Bimman breaks down the proposal and whether it can be accomplished.
The Prime Minister amped up to deliver a long-awaited electricity strategy with a plan to double Canada's capacity.
As our industries expand, our economy grows, AI accelerates, electricity demand in Canada is expected to double by 2050. So we will double our grid.
The government estimates the expansion could add 130,000 high-paying jobs by 2050.
This announcement in electricity, as far as I'm concerned, is the greatest announcement since, well, electricity itself.
Canada's current electrical system is complex and siloed. The Prime Minister concedes it's often easier to trade power with the United States than interprovincially, costing Canada billions.
Tying our grids together, and that will be that will be essential, and that's where the federal government has to come in and help the provinces make good choices that work strategically for the nation.
To help build and power an expanded grid, Mark Carney is proposing more flexibility to scale up natural gas, especially important in Western Canada, by loosening Trudeau-era clean electricity regulations.
It is a betrayal of the years of time that was spent with stakeholders and utilities and Indigenous nations on developing the federal clean electricity regulations.
He re-announced the same electricity plan that the Liberals have used over the last decade to jack up the cost of power bills by 35%.
While the government promises this expansion will eventually lower bills, it also puts the price tag at more than $1 trillion overall and couldn't provide any details about a breakdown or who would pay for what. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
More than 24 more people in Canada are being asked to monitor for symptoms of hantavirus following that outbreak on a cruise ship.
We were also notified of an additional 26 travelers who were on the flights but deemed by local European public health as being no risk. Again, in Canada, we're taking a precautionary approach, and we have deemed them to be minimal or low risk as opposed to no risk. The provinces and territories, therefore, are undertaking the work to contact these 26 individuals and provide them with information and monitor them throughout this time.
It's believed all of them were air passengers who shared flights with an infected person, but it's believed they didn't have any close contact. Ontario has asked 7 of the 26 low-risk travelers to isolate. 9 people in Canada have been classified as high-risk contacts. But no one in this country has shown any symptoms. The risk to the general public remains low and further spread is not expected. The United States says Iran's military capability has been virtually wiped out. A senior U.S. admiral said today that Tehran's missiles, navy, drones, and industrial base have been degraded by 90%, and the Iranian regime can no longer carry out large-scale attacks against its neighbors or American interests in the region. Admiral Brad Cooper insists Iran's navy will not return to its pre-war capability for a generation. U.S. President Donald Trump has concluded his first day of talks with his Chinese counterpart in Beijing.
We had extremely positive and productive conversations and meetings today with the Chinese delegation earlier, and this evening is another cherished opportunity to discuss among friends some of the things that we discussed today, all good for the United States and for China.
The Americans say the discussions focused on a shared desire to reopen the Strait of Hormuz and Xi Jinping's apparent interest in buying U.S. oil to reduce Beijing's dependence on Middle East supplies. Chinese state media says Xi warned Trump that mishandling their disagreements over Taiwan could push China-U.S. relations to a, quote, dangerous place. A brand new piece of technology has been unveiled for Saskatchewan. Jacob Carr has more on a VR lab aiming to help nursing students prepare for clinical care.
A A ribbon cutting at the University of Regina to signify a new virtual reality lab for nursing students.
But I like how technology has advanced that they applied it to nursing.
Fourth-year student Tree Lee is no stranger to the world of virtual reality, saying he grew up using it for video games. And now that it is being used across the country to train future nurses like himself, Lee says the VR training is a great way to learn without the stresses of a real-world environment.
Just being able to have a VR setting and having that controlled space where you're allowed to make mistakes. People can learn from it.
Members of the Faculty of Nursing say that several aspects of the VR training will translate directly to real-life situations for the students.
They can talk to the patient. They can manipulate some equipment to a certain extent. They can simulate procedures. It's quite a realistic environment considering it's virtual reality.
The virtual lab becoming a reality thanks to support from the provincial government.
This was something that was proposed by nurses that they thought would improve their ability. And, as a government, we're very proud to partner with our educational partners on educating more nurses. That's our goal, is to have more nurses available to work in Saskatchewan.
Lee says he enrolled because the province is in need of nurses and he wants to do his small part, and that the VR lab provides an exciting new way for himself and future students to receive their education.
I want to be able to work on a hospital unit just to be able to help people, because I've always heard stories of nursing shortages and how nursing is always so stressed and how there's such a high turnover of nurses.
Evans says the lab will allow nursing students to complete 1/4 of their future clinical experience in a virtual setting, which will free up space in hospitals for real-world training. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
All right, Laura, if you had a VR camera or headset, would you be putting the weather that we're getting today as a repeatable experience on your headset?
No, especially if you're in northern Saskatchewan. I don't think you want to be reliving this, especially in May. May long weekend. Here in Saskatchewan, it seems like we don't ever get that sunshine, and this weekend it's looking like no different. And into this evening, we're expecting to see a little bit of snowfall in parts of the province if we haven't already. 11 degrees right now in Saskatoon. The rain coming down in Prince Albert and the Battlefords as well. And if you didn't get rain today, you definitely got some wind. The high today, 21 degrees. There's an asterisk beside it because that high was at midnight. And of course, things got cooler as the day went on. We were a little bit above seasonal here, but with the wind and the rain, it sure did not feel like it. The record was set in 1903 at 33 degrees and -6 was the record low, and seeing the sun set shortly. So I'll have your full weather forecast coming up.
Coming up, an assignment rich in color and culture. We meet the Saskatchewan students recognized for their design of ribbon skirts.
The defending Grey Cup champions are back on the field. Friday on Your Morning, we are getting a full training camp report from former Rough Rider Luke Mullender.
All right, a rainy day in Saskatoon. Jeff left me with this forecast. I take no responsibility for the rain and the wind and maybe even some snow in parts of the province. You can see behind me our sky cam drenched. Yeah, and if you were outside today, you might have felt the same way. Periods of showers throughout the city, and looking like overnight there is a risk of some thunderstorms. And it wasn't just Saskatoon, really right across the province. We saw that rain and the wind. And yes, as I mentioned, the north maybe getting some of those snowflakes into tomorrow as well. I'll get out of the way and we can take a look at this system rolling through. And now we can blame the United States for this spring storm. It came in through the Rockies and headed north into the prairies, starting in Alberta and then heading east to Saskatchewan and now heading into Manitoba as well. Current conditions in Saskatoon right now, 11 in Prince Albert, Saskatoon, and the Battlefords right across the board. Okay, the Battlefords 1 degree less there. So hot spot Hudson Bay at 22 degrees, cold spot Collins Bay at 0 degrees. Right now, right across the province, around 11 degrees for central Saskatchewan. As we head up north, a little cooler, but sticking with those gray skies, and up north, even cooler in Stony Rapids, Collins Bay, and South End. And as we head down south, looking a little warmer in Coronach, Assiniboia, Maple Creek, but all getting that wind today. Taking a look at our futurecast, well, it's looking pretty ugly, I'll be honest. Look at that system rolling through, interrupting our May-long weekend plans. And here's a look at our watches and warning. These are some wind warnings in the south and rainfall warnings in the north and central part of Saskatchewan. Kind of from Meadow Lake on, we're expecting a little bit of snow tomorrow. There you can see west central Saskatchewan. Could get some snow. It's about a 60% chance now, so we are keeping our eyes on it. Southeastern Saskatchewan expecting more wind tomorrow, and then a little bit of rain and maybe snow for east central Saskatchewan. As for our regional forecast, the Battlefords tonight, a risk of thunderstorms, and then into tomorrow, some more rain. Get those rain boots on. Playing in puddles is the plan, I guess, for the long weekend, because we're expecting a gray weekend, not great for camping. And then into Prince Albert tonight, some more rain, and then temperatures dripping off tomorrow, and there is a risk of thunderstorms as well. And then Saturday, Sunday, cloudy skies. Monday warming up slightly to a high of 14, low of 1. As for overnight in Saskatoon, 4 degrees, wind, rain, risks of a thunderstorm. Jeff, what did you do to us? And then tomorrow, temperatures dipping off, getting a little cooler than what we saw today. Slightly warmer on Sunday, high of 10, low of 0, and then on Monday warming up, but still feeling cooler than what we've felt earlier this week. But we'll take a look at next weekend, okay? We'll just ignore this weekend and look at next weekend, because that's when things will start to warm up.
It's PG here in Choptown. We put it to a vote. Grab your Russian hate, let's get it told.
There's no hope for taupe in The Color of the Town. This is the latest edition of free theatre in the park from Some Theatre, and it runs until the end of June at various Saskatoon parks, plus stops in Prince Albert, La Ronge, and Regina.
Quick, my girlfriend's coming home. You gotta get out of here. I know we've been married for quite a while, blah, blah, blah. Get out.
Before you see Backrooms the movie, why not pay a visit to The Back Rooms? Saskatoon Soap's improv comedy is constructing some liminal laughter guided by audience suggestions. Friday, 8 o'clock at the Broadway Theatre.
The sharpest words want to cut me down. I set a flag and I drown them out.
Sunday, a cappella group Acoustic Theory headlines at the Broadway. The curtain goes up at 2 and 7. Sunday evening, the Capitol Music Club welcomes unapologetically old-school country artist Zachary Lucky to its stage. Three-time Juno winners Griffin Trio will be in concert at St. John's Anglican Cathedral on Tuesday. For tickets and information, visit the Guston House website.
And then they also had a pie chart of the kids in the hall, explaining which one I am. And I'm the dark purple slice.
And Dark Purple Slice is also the name of Bruce McCullough's latest show and album. This writer, director, and member of Kids in the Hall will be on stage at the Broadway Theatre on Thursday, May 21st.
Let's run away. Don't let it fade. Still looking for the thrill of the chase.
Thursday, May 21st, The Fray brings its Summer of Light tour to TCU Place. The music starts at 8.
So why do you want this truck?
I like this truck.
It isn't even your truck.
Meacham's Dancing Sky Theatre presents The Red Truck. The company is revisiting one of its most popular productions of the last 20 years. The show opens on Friday, May 22nd.
Okay, Laura, my favorite part of the show is when our viewers, our loyal viewers, get to tell us and show us what they've been up to. So what did you choose?
All right, we got some great pictures of the outdoors, and we'll start with this one sent to us by Denise. And she says she was driving to Bigger on Highway 4 after a lovely sprinkle and got this rainbow. I mean, double rainbow, pretty impressive. This might be the best picture of a rainbow I think we've seen. So thank you so much for sending that in. We also have this picture sent to us by Greg, and Greg says he took this picture at Diefenbaker Park and saw these amazing clouds, and I agree, some great sky there. So thank you so much for snapping that picture and thinking of us. And our last one, this moose sent to us by Bonnie in Radisson, and she says, curious moose, and I would agree. He's looking pretty curious. Bonnie, you're looking pretty close to that moose, though, I would say, or maybe a good zoom lens. And yeah, he's looking happy. He's looking curious. All right, I'll stop talking about this moose. If you have a photo you'd like to send to us, you can email it in at Pick of the Day. And if you want to put your full name and the subject line, Pick of the Day, Jeff, me, and the whole team, we love to see the pictures. So thanks so much for sending those in.
Still to come on CTV News, the work of Saskatchewan students on display. How a classroom assignment caught the attention of provincial politicians. A group of Saskatchewan students have taken their creations all the way from the classroom to the legislative building. As Mick Favel shows us, what started as an assignment has turned into designs full of color and culture that have caught the eye of provincial politicians.
This Barbie has its own hand-stitched ribbon skirt. It's one of 25 Barbie dolls on display in the Saskatchewan legislature. They're part of a special project, mixing practical life skills and Indigenous traditions in a classroom at Kitchener School.
They really enjoyed being able to learn how to do hand sewing and learning how to sew with the machine, and they took pride in making sure that all the Barbies and the ribbon skirts were ready to be shown.
We have a full row of students here that are joining us from Kitchener Community School. Each of them is holding a doll.
Mira Conley, the NDP MLA representing Regina Elphinstone Centre, invited the students from her district to attend the assembly and bring her project along.
I explained to them, once you say things in there in the chamber, that's recorded for all time in Saskatchewan history. So I was explaining to them that this project that they've been part of and their names will be recorded for all time in the history of Saskatchewan, and that they should be really proud of that.
Each dress was sewn and stitched by a student who put much thought into their creation and what they hope to represent.
The dolls that we picked represent some of the students in the classroom. So they look like the others. They look like the students.
I decided to use the fabric, this fabric, because it reminds me of my mom's old ribbon skirt.
The students responded well to the project and have been asking for more culturally themed assignments.
I know teaching Indigenous culture could be a scary thing, but with the acts of reconciliation in our classroom, we need to make sure that sometimes we're uncomfortable so our students are more comfortable and heard and seen.
Mick Favel, CTV News, Regina.
When we come back, the Saskatoon Mamba attract the attention of Saskatoon students. And later, why this bear captured on camera means business.
Well, let's take a look at our rainy forecast, our rural forecast around the province, looking like this stretch of central Saskatchewan and north, getting some rain and maybe even snow as temperatures dip off. Yeah, more of a likelihood of getting some of those snowflakes. I'll get out of the way here and we can take a look at our forecast. Windy in Kindersley. I think that's part of a rhyme or a book. Okay, 12 degrees there. Lloydminster at 4 degrees. And yeah, right across the province, getting rain, could be snow. And then as we head down down south, sticking with those windy conditions we saw today. Shaping up to be a very windy, rainy, gray, long weekend. And as we head over to Nacum, looking like, oh, let me get back in my spot here. Okay, Nacum, 5 degrees and shaping up to be a mix of sun, no, not a mix of sun and clouds, just clouds. And there is a chance of some thunderstorms for tomorrow. And Nacum is where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
Saskatchewan's new-look professional basketball team hit the court this morning for the first game in Saskatoon Mamba history.
Gordon going up top and through the contact. Nice work at the cup by Tajuan Gordon.
The Mamba hosted the Vancouver Bandits for a matinee home opener at SaskTel Centre. They were wearing their Aurora Kit uniforms. The team is partnering with Saskatoon Public Schools. They brought students to SaskTel Centre, and the kids were able to meet players after the game. After trailing 67-48 at halftime, the Mamba eventually dropped the season opener 124-95. Next up for Saskatoon, a trip to Winnipeg. They'll face the Sea Bears Friday night. It was a bittersweet end to the Centennial Cup last night for the Flin Flon Bombers.
Connors with the feed, backdoor pass, Morozov couldn't knock it on goal. Arbery scores!
Reed Arbery and Daniel Morozov had a goal and an assist as the Bombers beat Truro 3-1. Flin Flon finishes with 6 points, tied for the 2 quarterfinal spots in Pool B with Truro and Toronto. But the tiebreaker relied on a goal differential, and the 8-3 loss to Toronto last weekend came back to bite the Bombers. It's the first time in the 10-team format an SJHL team will not make the playoffs. The Saskatchewan Roughriders have added national defensive back Trey Tomlinson. The Winnipeg product played college ball last year with the Louisiana Lafayette Ragin' Cajuns.
Wants to throw now, and he's going to go deep. And I mean deep, and I mean touchdown, Florida!
The Riders also moving receiver Tyree Cleveland to the retired list. With his departure, the Riders brought back receiver Jawan Winfrey, who they cut earlier this week. Winfrey spent time with the NFL's Green Bay and Indianapolis. It was a battle of Saskatchewan on soccer pitch last night. The Saskatchewan Excel taking on teams from Regina as part of Prairie's Premier League action. The semi-professional soccer league featuring teams from Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Northern Ontario helps to fill a development gap for players in Saskatchewan while bringing competitive opportunities for current and potential players.
I think everybody's pretty excited. The province is excited. I know as an organization for us, we're excited about being able to bring this level of soccer to Regina, and so that our players on the men's and women's side, so that they don't have to pursue these opportunities elsewhere.
The Saskatchewan Excel won the women's game 1-0, while it was a 1-1 draw for the men. Honda confirming today it's pausing its plan to build an $11 billion EV project in Canada. Marilla Fernandez has more.
Honda says evolving business conditions and shifting consumer demand are to blame. Both Ottawa and Ontario had promised $5 billion to finance the project. Honda says it hasn't accessed any of the funds. Honda also reported its first ever annual loss today of $2.7 billion U.S. Its shift away from electric vehicles are mainly to blame. The Japanese company and other car makers have taken big hits, with the U.S. no longer supporting EV strategy. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar up a fraction to 72.86. West Texas Intermediate barely changed at 101.17. Western Canadian Select is down to 79.71, and the TSX gained 226 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Coming up, the bear caught on camera and the message he's sending. Then some high school students dig through the soggy past.
Select Hair Services brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here on CTV, starting at 7 with Next Level Chef. Are you a fan of Banff in the area there, Laura?
Oh, yeah. Who's not a fan?
I'm a fan as well. Bears are also fans, and one incredible image captured on a trail cam in Banff National Park. It's being used to remind visitors to leave wildlife alone. The photo shows a grizzly bear snacking on a fish. I'm not sure what type. The park posted the shot on its Facebook account to remind visitors stick to the rules when it comes to wildlife that are feeding. That means staying 10 bus lengths away from bears, wolves, cougars, and coyotes. This might go back to, Laura, what you were saying about the moose, maybe a little more distance.
Yeah. Maybe leave it to the trail cameras to capture.
Exactly, or a really good focus or a zoom lens, I guess you could call it. There you go. Well, we'll finish off with some high school students that are in Maine. They're getting their feet wet as they perform research on a real-life shipwreck.
Do a report on it, we kind of compile it. So we've got a good 10, 15 years of kind of long-term study of this wreck.
At low tide, the Pasagassa-Waikag River reveals this wreck from the early 1900s. Students have been spending decades checking it out, trying to figure out how it wrecked, where it came from, and what it was used for. They've even been working with a local marine institute, making this a real live living classroom. I wonder if you find gold or doubloons or anything like that, who gets to keep them? I wonder.
Well, you just put it in your pocket and you just...
Sneaky pirates. There you go.
Pirates, yeah. Good night.
Have a good one.